Hey guys, it is Monday, so that means it is Bible time. Now, if you guys remember, right before this lockdown and quarantine happened, we were in a series called Mountain Movers. The whole premise of that series is where we're looking at stories in the Bible where people took seriously what Jesus said whenever Jesus said that if you have faith the size of a mustard seed, you can say to this mountain, move, and it'll move. Basically, you can pray to God, and if you believe in your heart, then He will do awesome and powerful things. Now, I had planned a ton of stories that involved people having faith to ask God to do crazy things, and He actually showing up and doing that. But I didn't get a chance to share all those stories with you. So I'm going to share one of those stories with you today, and that is the story of Elijah and the prophets of Baal. Now, if you've been to church any number of years, you will know this story probably better than most. And there is so much to this story. I could go on and on for 30, 45 minutes about all of the different things in this story. But I really just want to focus on a couple of things in the main part of the story. So the story goes something like this. There was a prophet in Israel named Elijah. And Elijah, he served God with his whole heart. And now this nation of Israel, they had a bad king, they had a bad leader, and they were leading the people of Israel down a wrong path. They were worshiping false gods. Now, we don't have false gods in our world today, but in their world, they were fake deities. They thought that they were really gods, and they were worshiping them instead of the one true God who was always trying to get their heart, always trying to get them to turn and to repent. And so the nation of Israel, they were going down this wrong path. And apparently almost every single person had turned and they were not following God. And Elijah, he thinks that he is the only prophet left. And so the king who's leading the people down, he's searching for Elijah, because Elijah, he's trying to get people to turn back to God. And the king, he thinks that Elijah is ruining the country. So Elijah, one day he goes and he confronts the king and he says, hey, I want you to get all of your false prophets, all the prophets of Baal, and meet me up on top of the mountain. And so the king does. And so the Bible says that there's 450 prophets of Baal and 400 prophets of Asherah. And these are just two different gods and deities that the people of Israel are worshiping. So that's about 850 prophets. And so Elijah, he shows up and he confronts these 850 people. And he is all alone serving God. So he thinks. And so he sets up a competition. He wants to see who the real God is. And so just reading in 1 Kings chapter 18, verse 21, it says, then Elijah approached all the people and he said, how long will you waver between two opinions? If the Lord is God, follow him. But if Baal is God, follow him. But the people didn't answer him a word. That part, whenever I was studying this morning, it really stood out to me, because in our life, we're always going to have at least two options: following God or not to follow God. We think that we can get away with trying to go somewhere in the middle, go to church, listen to worship music, watch some videos, read a Bible passage, and then not follow him with a whole heart. We think that we can get away with trying to find somewhere in the middle, but in reality, there's only two options, and it is wholeheartedly following God or not following him at all. And so if we are not 100% with God, then we're not with him at all. And so my challenge and my heart for this message is that there's always going to be two opinions. There's always going to be two ways that we can go. We can always go after God, or we can always go after something else, but we can never be in the middle. Jesus, in the book of Revelations, he's speaking to one of the churches and the prophecies, and Jesus, he finds a church. In the church, they are trying to work the middle. They don't know if they want to go 100% in for God. They don't know if they want to be 100% out. And so they're trying to work the middle. They're going to church. they're trying to do the right thing, they're trying to be a good person, but they are not 100% sold out. And the Bible says that Jesus, he speaks to this church and he says, you're neither hot nor cold. And because you're lukewarm, because you're not hot or cold, I'm going to spit you out of my mouth. The word for spit right there, it's a more violent term than that. It almost means to vomit you out of my mouth. And so that is almost what Jesus is saying to us, that if we're not 100% with him, then we're not with him at all. And if we're not with him at all, he says he's going to vomit us out of his mouth. And I know this is a hard message to hear this morning with all this going on, but I really believe that God has placed on my heart that are you 100% with God? What does it look like to be 100% with God? If you've ever heard me teach or preach, you know what I'm about to say. It's all a matter of the heart. It doesn't matter what it doesn't matter all that you do. It doesn't matter if you go to church every single day. It doesn't matter if you read the Bible all the way through. It doesn't matter if the only thing you listen to is worship music. It's all a matter of the heart. You either love and want to serve God with everything inside you, or you go down the wrong path a little bit. And there's always good intentions. We always want to try to serve God, but then maybe temptation comes or something better comes, something funner seems to be there instead. We don't want to devote ourselves to reading the Bible, to telling people about Jesus. But the Bible is clear is that we are either 100% with God or we're not with him at all. I hope this challenges you guys to really press in and see what God has for us. I know this has nothing to do with mountain movers. I planned on going and talking about that, but it seems like I went a different route. But that is okay, because I really feel like God is trying to speak to somebody today. 100% with them, or you're not with them at all. If you need it, if you guys have any questions, you guys have any prayer requests, please don't hesitate to reach out. Most of you have my number. Call me, text me, DM me on Instagram, whatever it takes. If you have anything, reach out to me. I'd love to talk with you guys and go deeper with you on what are the next steps. What does it look like to go 100% with God in everything? I love you guys. I'm praying for you. I really can't wait to see you guys soon. We are about to work out some details on when church can start back again. Can't wait to see you guys.